There is a hidden cost we rarely notice in our everyday lives. It is not the kind of cost we pay with money or with time in a way that is obvious. It is something much deeper, something subtle that eats away at our spirit, little by little. This cost appears when we linger too long in low-frequency emotions, when we allow fear, shame, guilt, or resentment to become the atmosphere of our lives. At first it feels invisible. We think we are just experiencing a mood, a bad day, a wave of anger that will eventually fade. But in truth, each of these states carries a frequency, and that frequency becomes the reality we live in. Imagine walking into a room where the air feels heavy, where the energy seems to drain you the moment you step inside. You may not see anything tangible, but you sense it. That same weight is what happens inside of us when we remain stuck in low emotions. They quietly filter the way we see the world. A hopeful opportunity arrives, but we view it with doubt. A new relationship opens, but we sabotage it with mistrust. Our outer circumstances mirror back to us the hidden vibration we are radiating, and yet because it happens gradually, we often fail to notice the price we are paying. There is a version of you that you may not have fully met yet, a version who is lighter, freer, and open to synchronicities, aligned with flow rather than resistance. But between where you are now and that version of yourself stands a barrier built from low-frequency emotions. This barrier does not scream at you, it does not appear overnight. It simply lingers, repeating old stories in your mind, until you begin to believe that this is all life has to offer. That is the hidden cost, the quiet erosion of possibility. Think for a moment about how fear operates. Fear convinces you that safety is found in staying small. It whispers that risk will end in failure. It makes the unknown appear dangerous, rather than inviting. The cost of living in fear is not only the opportunities you never take, it is also the shrinking of your world until it becomes nothing more than a repetition of what you already know. Guilt works differently, but it carries its own tax. Guilt ties you to the past, looping your mind into what if and if only. It demands constant repayment for things you cannot change. Shame goes even deeper, convincing you that you yourself are unworthy of love, of joy, of expansion. Each of these emotions vibrates at a frequency so low that it anchors you to an unwanted reality. And yet, most people carry them without question. They wake up, scroll through their phone, feel envy at the lives of others, criticize themselves for not being enough, and then wonder why their manifestations never come to life. They do not realize that manifestation is not about wanting harder, but about tuning into the vibration of what they desire. When the signal of your energy is filled with static, resentment, self-doubt, hopelessness, you cannot clearly connect to the higher reality you wish to shift into. The radio is tuned to the wrong station, and all you hear is noise. This is why it is so important to pause and truly reflect on the cost of staying in low-frequency emotions. It is not just a passing bad day, it is the shaping of your entire reality. It is the quiet background program that keeps you repeating the same patterns, attracting the same situations, meeting the same kinds of people, and wondering why things never change. Many seekers of transformation make the mistake of focusing only on techniques, visualizations, affirmations, rituals, but without addressing the hidden emotional frequency beneath those practices, their results remain inconsistent. The universe responds not to words but to vibration. What makes this topic so important is that everyone has experienced both sides. You have felt what it is like to be in alignment, when things seem to flow effortlessly, when doors open as if by magic, when even small joys fill you with gratitude. And you have also felt what it is like to be stuck in the heaviness of low energy, when nothing works out, when everything feels blocked, when life itself feels like resistance. That contrast is not accidental, it is a mirror teaching you how powerful your emotional frequency truly is. So as we begin this journey together, I invite you to open your awareness, not with judgment, but with curiosity. Ask yourself, what emotions do I live in most of the time? What frequency do I unconsciously broadcast to the world? Do I dwell in fear, more than in faith, in resentment, more than in love, in doubt more than in trust? If the answer is yes, then this exploration is not about blaming
yourself.
It is about reclaiming your energy. Because the hidden cost of staying in low-frequency emotions is not only lost time, but the loss of your truest potential. And the moment you choose to recognize it, you already begin to rise above it. When we speak about emotions as frequencies, it can sound abstract at first, almost like poetry. But in truth, this language is deeply practical. Everything in existence vibrates, your body, your thoughts, even the chair you are sitting on. Science has confirmed that what we see as solid matter is, at the smallest scale, energy in motion. Emotions are no different. They are not random clouds floating through your mind. They are measurable states of energy, and each one resonates at a particular vibration. Think of it as a spectrum. On one end of the spectrum are the heavy, dense emotions: shame, guilt, fear, anger. These vibrations are slow, heavy, and contracting. They pull your awareness inward, closing you off from possibilities. On the other end of the spectrum are the light, expansive emotions: love, joy, gratitude, peace. These vibrations are fast, open, and creative. They expand your awareness outward, connecting you to synchronicity and flow. Most of us fluctuate between these ends of the spectrum every day, but what truly shapes our reality is not the occasional dip or rise, but the emotional states we live in most consistently. Imagine your emotions as radio stations. If you are tuned to a station of fear, no matter how much you want love, all you will hear is static that aligns with fear. You cannot hear the music of love while broadcasting on the frequency of doubt. Likewise, if you are tuned to gratitude, even challenges begin to play in harmony with your growth. The signal you choose is the signal the universe echoes back to you. This is why many people feel confused about why their life doesn't match their desires. They set intentions, they say affirmations, they visualize their dream life, but their dominant emotional frequency remains locked in scarcity, anxiety, or self-criticism. The universe responds not to the words, but to the vibration behind the words. Saying, "I am abundant," while feeling unworthy, is like shouting into a microphone with no power supply. The words may be correct, but the frequency does not carry. Let's go deeper. Emotions are not only vibrations, they are also messengers. Each one tells you what frequency you are living in, and what reality you are aligning with. Fear tells you that you are seeing the world through the lens of survival. Anger tells you that you feel powerless and are seeking control. Shame tells you that you have mistaken your mistakes for your identity. These are not punishments, they are signals. The challenge arises when we forget to listen to the message and instead build our home inside the emotion. We let it define us. We begin to say, "I am afraid, I am guilty, I am unworthy," instead of realizing, "I am experiencing fear, I am passing through guilt, I am noticing shame." That subtle shift determines whether the emotion becomes a teacher or a prison. It is important to remember that low-frequency emotions are not bad, they are part of the human experience. Without knowing sadness, joy would not feel as radiant. Without knowing fear, courage would not feel as powerful. But the problem arises when we linger in these states far longer than their lesson requires. Think of emotions like travelers knocking on the door of your consciousness. They arrive with a message. If you listen, the messenger leaves. If you ignore or resist, the traveler unpacks their bags and decides to stay. That is when temporary emotions harden into persistent frequency. Some traditions describe this through the idea of energy centers or chakras. When emotions are unresolved, they can block the natural flow of energy through the body. Fear often sits in the root, guilt in the sacral, shame in the solar plexus. These blocks create not only emotional heaviness, but physical tension, tight shoulders, shallow breath, fatigue. In contrast, when higher frequencies like love and gratitude flow freely, the body relaxes, the breath deepens, the mind clears. You become a vessel aligned with the energy of creation itself. Another way to understand this is through resonance. Have you ever seen two tuning forks? Strike one, and the other begins to vibrate at the same frequency, even without being touched. Life operates the same way. Whatever vibration you consistently hold, you will notice the world around you echoing it back. Hold the vibration of resentment, and you will find endless reasons to feel resentful. Hold the vibration of love, and love will begin to reveal itself in unexpected places. This is not coincidence, it is resonance. Many seekers misunderstand manifestation because they think it is about getting what you want, but manifestation is really about becoming the frequency of what you want. If you want joy, you must align with joy. If you want abundance, you must align with gratitude. If you want love, you must align with self-acceptance. Life mirrors not your wishes, but your vibration. And this is why understanding the frequency of emotions is so crucial, because emotions are the most direct and honest indicator of the vibration you are radiating in any moment. Think of two versions of yourself, one living primarily in fear, one living primarily in trust. The fearful self sees obstacles, problems, dangers. The trusting self sees opportunities, lessons, and synchronicities. Both live in the same external world, yet their internal frequencies create two entirely different realities. This is the essence of reality shifting, not jumping into another dimension with force, but tuning your frequency until your outer reality must respond to your inner state. So the question is not whether you feel low-frequency emotions. Everyone does. The question is, do you live there? Do you treat them as visitors, or do you give them the keys to your home? Understanding this spectrum of emotional frequency is the first step to reclaiming your power as a creator of your reality. Because once you see that emotions are not random storms but precise vibrations, you can begin to consciously shift, to tune, to choose. And from this awareness, everything begins to change. You stop blaming circumstances for how you feel. You stop seeing yourself as a victim of mood swings. Instead, you begin to recognize that you are the musician tuning your own instrument, and the universe is simply amplifying the song you play. When you understand that, the power to shift your reality is no longer distant, it is right here, in the frequency of the emotions you cultivate today. When we remain in low-frequency emotions for too long, we begin to pay a price that is often invisible until it has already taken its toll. Unlike a bill in the mail, the cost of these emotions does not arrive with a clear number printed on it. Instead, it reveals itself in the way our life begins to feel smaller, heavier, and less aligned with our true potential. The tragedy is that many people do not even realize they are paying this price, because they have grown so used to the weight that they assume it is normal. The first hidden cost is energetic drain. Every emotion consumes energy, but low-frequency emotions act like leaks in your energetic field. Fear consumes your focus, replaying scenarios of what could go wrong. Guilt loops your mind back into the past, rehearsing what you wish you could undo. Anger keeps your body tense, your nervous system on alert, as if preparing for a battle that never ends. Each of these states pulls from your life force, leaving you fatigued, unfocused, and less available for creativity. This is why, after a day spent worrying or resenting, you often feel physically exhausted, even if you did nothing physically demanding. The energy that could have been invested in creation has been siphoned away by survival mode emotions. But the cost is not only energetic, it is also perceptual. Low-frequency emotions change the way we interpret reality itself. Imagine looking through glasses tinted red. Everything you see will appear colored, even though the world itself has not changed. Fear does the same, it tints every opportunity with danger. Shame colors every interaction with the belief that you are not good enough. Anger distorts every neutral event into a potential attack. These emotional lenses filter out possibilities and amplify threats, making you blind to the openings that life presents. The hidden cost here is not only the stress you feel, but the opportunities you never recognize, because your perception is clouded. Another cost lies in the law of resonance. The universe operates like an echo chamber, amplifying whatever vibration you project. When you remain in resentment, life responds by offering more reasons to resent. When you hold guilt, circumstances appear that confirm your self-punishment. This is not punishment from the universe, it is resonance. Like a magnet attracting similar particles, your dominant frequency pulls toward you experiences that mirror your inner state. The hidden cost of low emotions, then, is not only what they make you feel today, but the unwanted realities they set in motion for your tomorrow. Consider how time itself is affected. When you remain in low vibrations, you become stuck in loops. Fear leads you to avoid change, keeping you trapped in repetitive routines. Guilt locks you into the past, making you relive the same mistakes mentally, even as the years pass by. Shame convinces you that you are unworthy of growth, so you stop seeking it. The result is that entire seasons of your life can vanish in cycles of repetition. Days blur into weeks, weeks into months, and suddenly years have passed without significant transformation. The cost is not only lost opportunities but lost time, time you can never retrieve. The body also pays a price. Emotions are not confined to the mind, they live in the body. Prolonged fear can weaken the immune system, making you more susceptible to illness. Anger can elevate blood pressure and strain the heart. Shame can disrupt digestion, sleep, and hormonal balance. What we call stress is often just the physical residue of unresolved low-frequency emotions, left unchecked. This residue hardens into chronic conditions. Thus, the hidden cost is not only spiritual misalignment, but physical dis-ease. Your body becomes the stage where unprocessed emotions perform their drama. Perhaps the most painful cost is the theft of identity. Low-frequency emotions convince you that they are who you are. Shame tells you that you are broken. Guilt tells you that you are unredeemable. Fear tells you that you are powerless. Over time, people begin to weave these emotions into their sense of self, They no longer say, I feel shame. They say, I am shameful. They no longer say, I feel fear. They say, I am afraid. And once identity fuses with the emotion, the person begins to live a smaller version of themselves, forgetting the vastness of who they truly are. The cost in this sense is the slow erasure of your authentic self. But the damage does not stop at the individual level. It extends into relationships. Low-frequency emotions ripple outward, shaping how we connect with others. Fear makes us guarded, closing the heart to intimacy. Anger makes us reactive, driving wedges where bridges could have been built. Guilt makes us overcompensate, giving more than we truly have, leading to resentment later. Shame makes us hide, preventing true vulnerability. Over time, these dynamics create distance, mistrust, and conflict, robbing us of the joy that connection is meant to bring. The hidden cost here is not just your inner pain, but the love and support you lose access to because of it. Another subtle but profound cost is the dulling of intuition. High-frequency emotions open you to inner guidance. You feel nudges, synchronicities, signs, but low-frequency emotions create so much mental noise that intuition becomes drowned out. Instead of sensing the right path, you overthink, second-guess, and spiral. Life feels confusing not because guidance is absent, but because fear and shame create static on the channel. The hidden cost here is the loss of alignment. You wander without a compass, even though your soul is always trying to guide you. Now pause and imagine the two possible lives. In one, you continue living in low-frequency emotions. The days feel heavy, the body aches, opportunities are filtered out by doubt, relationships feel tense, years pass, and you look back wondering where your joy went. In the other, you recognize the cost and choose to shift. You lighten your vibration. You begin to perceive opportunities. You feel energy returning. Your body begins to heal. Relationships deepen. Synchronicities guide you toward your higher path. The difference between these two lives is not fate, it is frequency. This is why it is said that emotions are the architects of reality. They build the walls of your inner world and shape the view of your outer one. Staying in low-frequency emotions may feel easier in the short term. After all, it requires no effort to worry or resent. But the hidden cost is immense. Drained energy, distorted perception, repeated loops, physical illness, damaged relationships, lost intuition, and above all, the fading of your highest self. The good news is that the moment you recognize this cost, you have already begun to reduce it. Awareness is the light that exposes what was once hidden. When you truly see what low-frequency emotions are taking from you, you naturally feel less willing to stay in them. You begin to desire a different way of being, and that desire is the spark of transformation, the turning point where the old reality begins to dissolve, making space for the new. Once you have seen the true cost of living in low-frequency emotions, the natural question arises, how do we shift? How do we move from heaviness into lightness, from contraction into expansion, from fear into trust? The answer is not about forcing yourself to be positive or pretending the lower emotions do not exist. It is about gently tuning your inner frequency, moment by moment, so that your natural state of alignment becomes stronger than the pull of old patterns. Shifting into higher frequency states is less about effort and more about awareness, intention, and consistent practice. The first and most powerful step is awareness without judgment. Many people become trapped in low emotions, not because the emotions appear, but because they add shame on top of shame, guilt on top of guilt. They say, I shouldn't feel this way, I'm failing at being spiritual, but the truth is that emotions are not enemies. They are signals. When you observe an emotion without condemning it, you begin to create space. That space is freedom. It allows you to say, fear is visiting me right now, instead of, I am fear. Awareness turns the emotion into an experience, rather than an identity. The simple act of noticing changes your frequency, because it lifts you into the vibration of presence. Breath is another gateway. In every moment, your breath reflects your frequency. Shallow, fast breaths are signals of anxiety. Long, deep breaths signal safety and calm. By consciously slowing and deepening your breathing, you send a message to your nervous system that you are safe. This shift calms the body, quiets the mind, and allows higher states like peace and clarity to emerge. Try it. Take one slow, full breath, right now. Feel how instantly it changes the energy in your body. This is not small. This is the essence of shifting. Meditation and stillness are practices that help stabilize this awareness. In silence, you begin to recognize that you are not your thoughts, not your emotions, but the presence observing them. And that presence is already high frequency. It is spacious, timeless, at peace. The more you rest in that awareness, the less power low-frequency emotions have over you. They may still arise, but they pass through like clouds across the sky, leaving the vastness of your awareness untouched. Another powerful tool is gratitude. Gratitude is one of the fastest elevators of frequency. Why? Because it reorients your focus from what is missing to what is present, from scarcity to abundance. Every time you sincerely say, "Thank you," your energy expands. You begin to notice the small gifts, a breath, a sunrise, a kind word that were always around you but hidden under the fog of low emotion. Gratitude does not erase problems, but it changes the way you meet them. Instead of seeing only obstacles, you begin to see opportunities. And the more you live in gratitude, the more life mirrors back reasons to be grateful. Reframing pain is another way to shift. Often, what keeps us stuck is the belief that suffering is meaningless. But when you begin to ask, "What is this teaching me? How is this growing me?" the frequency changes. Suddenly, fear becomes a lesson in courage, loss becomes a lesson in love, challenge becomes a lesson in strength. Pain may still hurt, but it no longer lowers your vibration in the same way, because you are seeing it through the lens of growth rather than punishment. This shift in perspective transforms the emotional frequency of the entire experience. Your environment also plays a critical role. Everything around you carries frequency: music, words, spaces, even the energy of people. Pay attention to what you consume. Does the music you listen to lift you or drain you? Do the conversations you engage in inspire hope or reinforce fear? Do the spaces you inhabit feel nourishing or suffocating? Energetic hygiene is not only about inner work, but also about curating the external signals that shape your state. Choosing uplifting music, spending time in nature, surrounding yourself with supportive people. These are not luxuries, they are acts of frequency alignment. Another practice is embodiment. Emotions live not only in the mind, but in the body. Movement, whether dancing, stretching, walking, or yoga, helps release stagnant energy and open space for higher vibrations to flow. Have you noticed how different you feel after moving your body, compared to sitting in heaviness all day? The body is a powerful ally in shifting. Sometimes a simple act like shaking your hands, rolling your shoulders, or standing tall can begin to change your inner state. The body and spirit are not separate. They are in constant dialogue. It is also important to remember that small, consistent choices are more powerful than occasional grand efforts. Many people try to fix themselves in one dramatic spiritual breakthrough, but true transformation happens in daily alignment. Choosing to pause before reacting, choosing to breathe deeply when fear arises, choosing to focus on gratitude before bed. Each choice may feel small, but together they weave a new frequency into your life. Over time, these small shifts create a new baseline vibration so that higher states become your natural home rather than temporary visits. There is also the practice of self-compassion. Often, we treat ourselves harshly for being human, for feeling fear, for stumbling. But compassion itself is a high-frequency state. When you meet your own struggles with kindness rather than criticism, you lift your vibration instantly. You remind yourself that growth is a journey, not a performance. The energy of compassion softens the heart, dissolves shame, and invites healing. And from that softened place, it becomes easier to rise into joy, peace, and love. Finally, the most profound shift comes from remembering who you truly are. Beyond the layers of fear, guilt, and shame, your essence is already whole, already radiant, already vibrating at the frequency of love. The work is not about becoming something new, it is about returning to what you always were. Every time you let go of a low-frequency story, you peel back the veil, hiding your true self. And as your authentic self emerges, life responds in kind. Synchronicities appear, relationships deepen, opportunities align, and you realize that reality has always been waiting for you to tune into it. So shifting into higher frequencies is not about escaping the human experience, it is about embracing it fully and choosing to rise. It is about honoring emotions as teachers, but refusing to let them become prisons. It is about breathing deeper, loving wider, seeing clearer, and it is about remembering that in every moment, no matter how dark, there is always a doorway to light. That doorway is your choice, your awareness, your frequency. As we arrive at the end of this journey together, take a moment to breathe and notice how the ideas we've explored are landing in your body. We began by uncovering the hidden cost of low-frequency emotions, the way they drain energy, distort perception, and quietly shape our reality. We saw how fear, guilt, shame, and resentment act like silent thieves, stealing our time, our vitality, and even our sense of self. But we also discovered that awareness of this cost is the first step toward liberation, because what is seen can no longer remain in the shadows. The truth is that you are not defined by the emotions you feel. You are not fear, you are not guilt, you are not shame. You are the awareness that notices them, the consciousness that witnesses them, the light that remains unchanged beneath them. And this is the greatest secret of all: your true essence vibrates at the frequency of love, peace, and freedom. Every practice we discussed, awareness, breath, gratitude, embodiment, compassion, are simply tools that help you return to what you already are. Imagine your life 1 year from now, if you begin to shift, gently but consistently, into higher frequencies. Imagine waking up with more lightness in your body, more clarity in your mind. Imagine feeling guided by synchronicities, instead of weighed down by doubt. Imagine relationships deepening because you are more open, more compassionate, more attuned. Imagine your reality beginning to shape itself around joy, rather than fear. This is not a fantasy. It is the natural result of aligning with the frequencies that are already available to you. And now imagine the opposite: 1 year of staying in low-frequency emotions, ignoring their cost. The heaviness continues. The same cycles repeat. Opportunities pass by unseen. Health deteriorates. Days blur together in survival mode. This vision is sobering, but it is necessary, because it reminds us that every moment is a choice. You are always at a crossroads between repeating the old frequency or rising into a new one. So as you leave this video, I invite you to ask yourself one simple but powerful question: what frequency am I choosing right now? Not tomorrow, not next week, right now. Am I choosing fear, or am I choosing trust? Am I choosing resentment, or am I choosing gratitude? Am I choosing shame, or am I choosing compassion? Each moment is a doorway, and the direction you step determines the reality you enter. Remember, the hidden cost of staying in low-frequency emotions is losing touch with your highest timeline, but the reward of shifting is regaining your power as the conscious creator of your reality. No one else can make this shift for you. It is your journey, your song, your frequency, and the beautiful truth is that the moment you choose differently, life begins to rise to meet you. So breathe deeply, choose presence, choose love, and remember that the universe is always listening, always responding, always reflecting the vibration you hold. The choice is yours.